I remember even like in high school, I had so much hair. Like they always said, you will never go bald. I had this big poof right here and it was so thick. But with that being said, I also remember like other kids saying like I had a big forehead, like even in high school. And so it was like kind of one of those things where I'm like, I'll never go bald, but people noticed that my hair was like set a little higher. And so that was all fine and dandy. But honestly, even like in my early 20s, like maybe around 2021.
I just need to tell you about this, the power shift. If you're in a position where you're feeling insecure about your hair loss and you want that to change, you want to feel confident, my ebook, The Power Shift, can really, really help you. You can get it right now and start reading instantly all of your worries like head shape, dating, how to actually get the courage to do it, how to stop wearing hats. It's all in here, including my own story in never before heard detail. Loads of fun pictures like this one of me there in Las Vegas. Check it out, guys. The Power Shift. Oh, that's China. Here's a question here. Is it time? It's available now. Click the link down below. Let's get back into this podcast.
I noticed that it was starting to fall back and people would make comments about it a little bit. When you're 20 and you're in college and you're kind of like on the dating scene, stuff like that, it was a little bit more challenging for sure. And I remember like growing my hair out longer, like in Defiance and stuff like that.
That moment, right, where you know things are going back, you mentioned comments.
They were meant to like jostle me a little bit. They were supposed to, I think, be like picking on a little bit more or less. I remember one professor actually in college that brought it up. He was bald. And he said something about like me not having hair much longer. And I was like, I feel like it'll hold on. You know, you always think it's going to hold on where it's at. And then at a certain point, I just knew it wasn't going to.
Growing it longer and stuff. You obviously realized that people were noticing and stuff. Was that to kind of minimize that?
I would say subconsciously, yes. It was also a little bit of defiance too. Like I was in college, so I grew a big beard. I had like a little like man bun ponytail thing that I rocked for a year. And I'm sure subconsciously it was just like hiding it, but also it was just part of it was trying to do it one last time because I kind of had, I think something within me knew that I was going to be bald. And so I was just trying to do it while I could.
But tell me then again about this kind of quick turnaround from kind of feeling maybe a bit insecure about it, a bit sort of, you know, people commenting on it, to then being like, yeah, okay, like I'm losing my hair. It is what it is.
It got to a point where I'm like, I can't really change it. I was never really interested in trying any of like the hair growth supplements or doing a transplant or anything. And so I just got to a point where I'm like, I am who I am, and this is what life has in store for me. And so I really was just kind of okay with it. So like my biggest concern, not even my biggest concern, but the thing that I hated the most going through that like balding phase was that other people cared more than me. Truthfully, with like social media and stuff like that, I started to just embrace it because I felt like it became like part of what I was trying to do. Like people would recognize me from balding basically.
Okay.
And so at that point I was like, it's not ideal, like in the grand scheme of life, but it's also totally okay. And it like helps me be unique and be myself. And so double-sided coin for sure, but I tried to look at the positives as much as possible.
The way the algorithm works and stuff, right? People will comment, and I still see a lot of people now on social media that are kind of using that to their advantage. A few pages, notably, when you are still in the kind of early days and you're accepting it like this is fine. That's, you know, a lot of men really struggle with that, right? What didn't, I guess, appeal to you or made you even consider things like a hair transplant and things like that?
That's a really good question. I'd say part of it, honestly, was my girlfriend at the time slash now my wife. She was always very comfortable with it. It wasn't something that bothered her. Her dad's bald and has been bald for years and years, like most of her life. And so her support with everything was really, really nice. I wasn't trying to put myself out there because obviously I understand that could make men very insecure with hair losses if they're trying to be in the dating scene and they're worried if, you know, people notice, if people are judging them by it. And so I think that really helped me. And then just also, once again, just kind of taking life for what it is, right? I was worried about the maintenance. I like to live fairly low maintenance. And so I'm like, I don't want to be having to put oils in my hair. I don't want to have to get on a routine. And then if I quit the routine, end up losing my hair anyways. It was a lot of worrying about that as well. And so I kind of just decided to just roll with it. And then having that support, like I said, for my now wife was very helpful.
So this is like 22, 23. When did you start to do the social media thing?
So I'd been doing social media for a long time, but I started getting into like what I do now, which is like pushing music a lot harder and then doing like the Heelys thing. That started in 2018. So actually right around that same time of like acceptance.
You find a lot of people were commenting on the hair, were they?
Yeah. And I feel like I look back at that, right? Because obviously it's like if you have a full head of hair, that's positive in a lot of ways. But also I don't think what I've been doing on social media would have taken off or done what it has done for my life if I had hair. I think that it would have, you know, been packaged and presented in a different way that maybe didn't capture like what I wanted it to capture. And so it's kind of a blessing in disguise to be in my hair situations.
What were some of the comments like that you were getting, or the most regular ones?
I mean, a lot of people would call me like George Costanza. I'd get ones like that, or like
Okay, yeah.
Randy from My Name is Earl. I'd get that one. People would say stuff about just the hairline in general being non-existent, or just how far back it is. There'd be some people that would just be like, just shave it off. But it gave people something to poke at. And unfortunately, social media kind of thrives on that. And so like that was definitely like it was helping me, but also a lot of it wasn't the nicest.
And you really just rocked, going back to the hair, you just rocked with it, right? When you
Yep.
were going to the barber shop or whatever, what would you ask for?
I stopped going into like salons and places like that. Oh gosh, probably in about 2018, 2019. And I just had my girlfriend slash wife now just cut my hair. We just put a guard on and we cut it. We tried like buzzing it down, but it wasn't the full shave. I think even like as early as 2020, but it was just kind of like dipping my toe in the water to see if I liked it, more or less. And then I just grew it out from there. And so she's cut it and we've tried different things. And ultimately, here's where we landed. So
Yeah.
it's like the hairline was back, the top kind of was thickish, and then it really started to thin out over like the last year or two. And I'm like, I can keep rocking it. But I'm like, I'm turning 30, I'm getting married. There's a lot of changes happening in my life. And so I was like, maybe I just do it. I just do it after I turn 30, after the wedding, everything along those lines, and just try it out. And it's like, I can always grow it back and it'll look how it looked before. But let's give it a try. And then I remember it was actually like 2 days after our wedding. We shaved it off and everything like that. And it was like, hey, that doesn't look so bad. I mean, it's very pale. I need to like balance it out, but yeah, I'm like that doesn't look bad at all. Actually, that's just fine. And so due to natural circumstances, I'm officially rebranding as a bald guy. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie, like I feel a little bit better already. Yeah, I just feel like I'm gonna keep it now.
Going back into your early 20s, really going back there, what do you think gave you that confidence to accept it and to be like, yeah, this is who I am?
I think a lot of it's kind of a mindset, in my opinion. At least it was for myself. Everyone puts so much like weight on hair, but it doesn't really impact like who you are as a person. It doesn't change. I mean, it can affect you like emotionally, but it doesn't make me better or worse at anything. It doesn't make me smarter or dumber. And so I think just kind of having that mindset of like it really doesn't impact anything outside of like that. I think that was the biggest thing for myself was just um coming to terms with that, even regardless of what, the outside world thinks. It's like I am still myself. If anything, I'm more of myself because I'm not changing anything.
Good point. Good. I had to ask that, and I think how has that impacted things on social media?
That was actually one of my biggest concerns, truthfully, is like if it would impact like my brand, right? Because so many people for so many years saw me with that receding hairline. I was very nervous to shave it off because I was afraid people wouldn't recognize me or they would find it less appealing for some sort of reason. But since I've done it, actually the opposite has happened. Most people are like, good for you, looks good. And everyone's just been like very kind about it, which is really, really nice. And then I released that music project called Just a Hair.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so it's a 3-track EP, and the songs kind of it's kind of like a microcosm of like life, but with the context of like hair, right? And so like the first song is called Just a Hair, and it's about just feeling like you're so close yet so far. But once again, it's kind of themed around hair loss. The second one is called Follicle, and that one is a little bit more like of a whimsical song. And then the last song is called Hottie. And that song is just about like regardless of all of the like volatility in life, you still got to like believe in yourself and be confident in yourself. And so Hottie's been the most popular one. I think just that confidence in the lens of like baldness has been well received. And so yeah, that is the project. How much further do I gotta go? Just a hair. Thoughts off top of head, but I don't have much growing there. So close yet so far, my dome is shining, I'm aware. It's just hair, it's just hair, it's just hair. How much longer till this comes together? Just a hair. Am I getting close? Can't wait forever. Just a hair.
People that watch this stuff, where can they find you at?
Yeah, so it's at James Makes Music on all social media pages. And outside of that, if you want to listen to my music, listen to the project, it's James G, all one word, and it'll be a picture of me bald.
Fantastic, amazing. James, thank you so much, man. Really, really great to put this together, to hear your story. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's just hair. How much longer till this comes together? Just a hair.